Hello everybody! In this video I'm going to talk about the updates that I have added to my violin Fingerchart application, the Click Violin version of it. So before I updated and add a bunch of new features to my Click Piano version of this application, and now I have done my best to add the same features to the Click Violin version. The application is available both for Mac and Windows computers, and I have a link in the description of this video where you can download it. As you might recall, the main component of this application is you click on any note on the violin Fingerchart, and it shows up on the piano and on the music staff. So first of all, if you click the I button here, it will bring up instructions for how to run the application. And if you click this reset button or press your spacebar, it will clear the notes out. There are two modes, so right now both the piano and the music staff are in monophonic mode, meaning they will only show one note at a time, but you can turn the piano into polyphonic mode, which means they'll show multiple notes at once, and as well as the staff here. By changing the setting with these buttons. So let's change it back to monophonic for now. In this drop-down menu, you can also select the key that you want to play in. So right now it's chromatic, which means that it will include all 12 tones. But let's say I want to change it to C major. Now, if I accidentally press a note that is in C major, it won't get triggered. So it doesn't show on the violin Fingerchart, and it won't play the sound, and it won't show anywhere. But if I press a note that is included in the C major scale, then it will go through. So that's just a little safety net if you're not too sure about what notes are included in each key signature. Let's change it back to chromatic. The other thing is that there is this option to use a MIDI controller. So right now I don't have my MIDI keyboard plugged in, but if I did, I would just select my MIDI input here. And there's also a MIDI output in case if you want to have the MIDI notes be sent from the application to another application like a DAW or a digital audio workstation. And here in this darker rectangle is where you can actually record and play back what you're playing from this application. So right now, if I start recording and then start playing some notes, and then stop recording, let's reset, and play back, it will play the notes. Now, let's say this is something that I'm working through in terms of what I want to play, and I really like it. Right now, it has been saved locally, but I'd like to export it out and be able to use the musical material for later. So I would just click the export button. Let's call this testing 1, 2, 3. And let's save it to my desktop so that way I can easily find it. And now that's saved to my computer. And I can re-import that MIDI file to another application, such as a notation software or another DAW like GarageBand, Logic, Reaper, etc. And then I can continue working with the musical material that way. Or let's say, for instance, I already made a piece for a violin with a notation software like MuseScore, or I figured it out in another DAW, and I want to double check that the fingerings actually work on the violin. In which case, I would click the import button here, and I can import any MIDI file from my computer. And then I would just hit play again in order to play this MIDI file. The other thing, let's say you're not so familiar with violin and the MIDI file you're trying to play is going by really fast and you really don't understand what's going on. Well, here with this slider, you can make your MIDI file play back slower. So this is in milliseconds. Having it all the way to the right would delay it by 3,000 milliseconds, which is 3 seconds. And then, of course, if you bring it back down to 0, that is the at tempo. And the last feature that I've added here is the MIDI channel. So right now it's on a piano sounding channel, but if I rotate this dial and say put it on channel 10, channel 10 is universally known on MIDI as the percussion channel. So you can change up your instruments that way as well. So that was my video on the Click Violin version of this application. I'll also have a link in the description for the video that is on the Click Piano version of this application. And of course, there's also a link for where to download these applications from. And if you do try it out, please let me know what you think. And of course, if you find any bugs in the software, please let me know and I'll look into it. And if you like my videos, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.